The first excerpt from the upcoming The Hunger Games book, Sunrise on the Reaping, offers the best insight yet into the prequel. Written by Suzanne Collins, the new Hunger Games book is set during the 50th Hunger Games, also known as the Second Quarter Quell. Every quarter quell comes with a brutal twist, and for these games, the twist is that the number of tributes is doubled. This means that there are 4 tributes from the reaping in each district and that there are 48 tributes in total. It is established in the existing books that District 12's Hamish Abernathy is the winner of these Hunger Games. The story will follow Hamish before he is chosen as one of the 48 tributes and during the harrowing second quarter quell that ends with him as the lone survivor. The Sunrise on the Reaping novel release is set for March 18, 2025, while a movie adaptation is slated to release in 2026. People has released an excerpt from Sunrise on the Reaping's first chapter that features numerous reveals and clues about what is to come in Hamish's prequel story. What happens in the Hunger Games? Sunrise on the Reaping excerpt. Hamish's mind is elsewhere the morning of the reaping. The logo for Sunrise on the Reaping against a green background and Woody Harrelson as Hamish in the Hunger Games custom image by Simone Ashmore. The Sunrise on the Reaping excerpt from the novel's first chapter is true to its name, as it takes place on the morning of the reaping of the second quarter quell. After sleeping in later than usual, a 16-year-old Hamish wakes up and begins preparing for the day ahead of him. He hopes to finish his work so he can spend his time the way he wants before the reaping ceremony. While Hamish tries to focus on this, he is inevitably distracted by the fear of being one of the 4 names that will be drawn later that day. That Hamish's plans are already derailed by his mother asking him to fill the cistern, which is at least a 2-hour job. Hiding his frustration, Hamish agrees to fill the cistern in the afternoon, after the reaping ceremony. Even though he tries to convince himself that the odds of being picked are low, and that the capital wins by him worrying, it is difficult to think of anything but the worst-case scenario that the reader already knows will come true. Everything we learn about Hamish Abernathy from Sunrise on the Reaping's first chapter. He has a girlfriend and grows up in the seam. Hamish gets to sleep in because it is his birthday, but this is little comfort with it being the same day as the reaping. What Hamish wants to do is to spend time with his love interest, Lenore Dove, which he worries he will be unable to do between his chores and the reaping. Hamish's father is revealed to have died in a coal mine fire, leaving Hamish's mother a young widow, who is only 35 in Sunrise on the Reaping. She has raised Hamish, and his 10-year-old brother Sid, in the seam, which is District 12's poorest area. Hamish's mother takes in as much laundry as she can in order to support the family. She has also helped the family survive by being frugal, from turning a flour sack into shorts to using hardwood ashes to make lye soap. At 16 years old, Hamish is in some ways a traditional teenager, who thinks to himself that his favorite things are wasting time and being with Lenore, but he is also used to living through hardship and needing to be resourceful. The Hunger Games prequel's excerpt is already setting up the book's biggest tragedies. Hamish's loved ones and fellow tributes will die. President Coriolanus Snow looking out over a crowd in the Hunger Games catching fire. Not only is it established that Hamish wins the second quarter quell, but it is known that he loses everyone he cares about in the aftermath of the 50th Hunger Games. President Coriolanus Snow kills Hamish's loved ones as punishment for manipulating the arena's force field to win, which Snow sees as a mockery of the Hunger Games and of the capital. Sunrise on the Reaping is already setting up this tragedy by introducing and fleshing out Hamish's mother, Sid, and Lenore. Instead of the novel concluding with Hamish's victory, the ending will likely feature the deaths of Hamish's loved ones. Their demises will be more devastating after getting to know their characters and after seeing how much each of them means to Hamish. Prior to the excerpt, there are also mentions of the 3 District 12 tributes whose names will be drawn alongside Hamish, although they have not been named yet. Hamish will have the added pain of experiencing not 1, but 3 of his District 12 tributes dying. The seeds are being planted to transform Hamish into the listless and inebriated mentor Katniss Everdeen meets in the Hunger Games. How Sunrise on the Reaping draws connections between Katniss and Hamish's stories. Hamish's connection to Katniss is even clearer now. Hamish clearly sees more of himself in Katniss than he does in Peter Mellark, and it is already easy to see why in Sunrise on the Reaping's opening excerpt. Hamish and Katniss both grow up in the seam with a single mother and a younger sibling. Their fathers died due to coal mine-related incidents, just as the dangerous industry has claimed the lives of too many in District 12. Hardship and living with limited resources is not an entirely new experience for Hamish and Katniss, as it is all they have known while growing up in the seam. Another major parallel is the dynamic between Hamish and Katniss and their younger siblings. Katniss and her sister, Primrose Everdeen, are shown to be incredibly close, and their bond becomes tragic, between Katniss volunteering to take Prim's place in the Hunger Games and Prim dying in Mockingjays' ending. Sid eagerly waking Hamish up, wishing him a happy birthday, and Haymitch playfully throwing Sid back into his bed demonstrates their positive sibling dynamic. Their relationship is also doomed to end in tragedy, with Sid dying shortly after Haymitch wins the second quarter quell.